That game wasn't fun to watch at all. Wasn't fun to attend to either. I was at this ball game today. It was not very entertaining. Not very entertaining. I will get into my experience at the ball game later, but the Phillies lose this first game of the series to the New York Mets by a score of 11-5. It was a ball game for the first 7 innings. Once it got to the 8th in the bullpen for the Phillies, it just blew up in their faces. Just blows up. Bullpen absolutely sucked. Bullpen was terrible. Oh my god. Just to allow that many runs in a span of two and a half innings right there. Not good. And offensively wise, we weren't really good. Yeah, Zach Wheeler on the mound for the Mets. He was good for that. He was good. But our offense just didn't do anything. I think for the first 8 innings, I think we were at least maybe 1 for 7, 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position, I think. Not very good. Leaving runners stranded. Just not getting timely hits. Offense just didn't make an impact today. And once again, the offense doesn't make an impact on an Aaron Nola start. Aaron Nola was great through the first 6 innings in this ball game. He was absolutely great. Once it got to that 7th inning, he struggled a lot. Walking batters, allowing guys to get on, allowing the Mets to tie the ball game. And I'm not blaming this game on Aaron Nola. I'm not going to blame it on him because he went out there and threw us a great ball game. He did. And his stat line on today, he goes 6 1/3, 4 hits allowed, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. If the offense just put up maybe at least 5 runs for Aaron Nola, I would say 5. That's a good enough outing to get you a win. It is. It should be. Even on any given night, that type of stat line should be good enough to win the ball game. But we bring in the bullpen. Alvarez was the only good guy out of the bullpen. Got saved a little bit from a really nice play by Gene Segura in the 7th inning. Morin comes in. He absolutely sucked. Allows 4 runs. Hughes came in. Sucked. And Garcia came in after Hughes was taken out. He sucked as well. Just those last 3 guys for the bullpen were just absolutely terrible. Like I said, Morin allowed 4 runs. Hughes allowed 1. Garcia allowed 5. And the stat line for Hughes looks a little diminished, but he allowed a home run to Todd Frazier. And since those base runners were the responsibility of Morin, those runs didn't go to Hughes. But Hughes still allowed that home run to Todd Frazier. So, yeah, Hughes sucked as well. Just not good. Not good enough. And in an important series as this was against the New York Mets, a team that is also in the race for the wild card. You already knew the Cubs won their ball game today against the Milwaukee Brewers, so the Phillies were 3 games back starting today. And the Phillies had another chance to go 7 games above 500. They fall flat on their face. Is it they're allergic going 7 games above 500? Is it too much pressure for them to do that? I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. Just Phillies do get the first run of this ball game. They score in the bottom of the 5th on a JT Realmuto sac fly. And also, to end this inning, Phillies still get a couple runners on. Bryce Harper walks. Corey Dickerson was still on base before the JT Realmuto sac fly. So you got 2 runners on for Rhys Hoskins. Rhys Hoskins had himself a nice day at the plate. And at this moment, he singles to left field. We decide to send Dickerson home. Play is very close. Umpire calls it out right away. Phillies decide to challenge the play. And on the replay at the ballpark, the first time I saw it, I was like, maybe he's out. But then when they showed it the second time, like right in front of home plate, in the slow-mo version of the replay, you could tell that the catcher's glove just didn't touch Dickerson's knee at all. It didn't touch his leg whatsoever. And maybe you saw Dickerson's hand slide over the plate, but you really couldn't tell because the catcher's glove was blocking home plate. So you really couldn't tell where Dickerson's hand landed. But it was obvious that the catcher did not touch Dickerson. But after the replay, umpire still called him out. Play on the field stood, and the Phillies lost the chance to get a run right there. So is that a bad call? Possibly bad call by the umpires? Maybe. I'm leaning more towards the it's a possible bad call, but the rest of the game just apparently didn't matter because the bullpen blew it up regardless. But in any way, that's lost a chance for the Phillies to maybe gain more momentum in this ball game, but didn't really matter right there. Go to the top of the sixth inning. Phillies leave a couple more runners on. Gene Segura, Zach Wheeler. I mean, not Zach Wheeler. Adam Hazley gets intentionally walked, so we got two runners on. And this is where comes into the moment of the ball game in this bottom of the sixth inning. Gabe Kapler does not decide to pinch for Aaron Nola, which in this moment I do agree with, because the way Aaron Nola was pitching at this point, the way he was pitching in this ball game was absolutely phenomenal, and he deserved to stay in this ball game. So I don't disagree with Gabe Kapler not pinch hitting for Aaron Nola when you have two runners in scoring position. Yes, you can also make the argument that bringing in a pinch hitter to possibly drive in at least one or two runs could happen, but Gabe Kapler went with the decision to keep Nola in this ball game, and at the time it was the right decision to make because of the way Nola was pitching. But we get to the top of the seventh inning, and Nola just didn't look the same. Did not look the same whatsoever. Leads off the inning with a walk to J.D. Davis, panic singles. He gets an out from Rosario, who pops out on the first pitch. But in the very next batter, he hits Todd Frazier with a pitch. Wilson Ramos comes up pitch hitting for the catcher, gets an RBI single to tie the ball game. And this is when Nola gets taken out of the ball game right there after that single by Wilson Ramos. And then we get a little bit of a bases loaded situation when Jose Alvarez into the ball game. Like I said, his ass kind of gets saved because Rajai Davis came up the pinch hit. First pitch he swung at from Alvarez. Line drive with an amazing catch by Gene Segura at shortstop. So Segura kind of saved Alvarez's ass right there. And then he gets the next guy to pop out, Jeff McNeil. So Alvarez gets out of that inning without allowing a run. So it's still tied at this point. The Phillies in the bottom of the seventh don't get really anything going. The leadoff guy, Corey Dickerson, gets on with a single. Can't do anything from there. Go to the top of the eighth. This is when Morin comes in. Gets into a 3-0 count with Pete Alonso. He singles. Michael Conforto singles. We got one out with J.D. Davis popping up. Joe Panic walks, bases loaded. And the next batter, Rosario, gets a 2-run single to make it 3-1 Mets. Very next batter, Todd Frazier hits a home run to make it 6-1. And that was the moment where I clocked out. That was the moment when I left the ballpark. I thought I was there with my buddy. He had to leave early because he had a late night shift at work today, so he left before all this nonsense happened in the eighth inning. I told him, nah, I'm gonna work it. I'm gonna tough it out. I'm gonna watch the rest of this ball game. I didn't expect that to happen. Did not expect that to happen whatsoever. Once that Todd Frazier ball just beamed out of the stadium, I walked out. Gave up on this ball game. And thank God I did, so I didn't have to see the rest of that monstrosity in the ninth inning. Oof. Speaking of the ninth inning, let's get to that. 2 home runs were hit by the Mets in that inning. Michael Conforto hits a 2-run shot. Then 2 more batters get on. Todd Frazier hits another damn home run. Makes it 11-1 in the ninth inning. Oof. Bad. It's absolutely bad. And then the Phillies, they knock on 4 pointless runs in the bottom of the ninth inning to, I don't know, see something, get some type of positivity out of this ball game. Corey Dickerson gets an RBI single, JT, sac fly, Bryce Harper RBI single, Rhys Hoskins RBI double. No, actually, Bryce Harper also had an RBI double as well. But still, all these runs were pointless. You were losing 11-1 in the bottom of the ninth inning, and most of these runs were produced with 2 outs. And Gene Segura, to end the game, he grounded out. So there goes the comeback. Just absolutely terrible. Just to lose in that kind of fashion in a game that Aaron Nola pitches his ass off. He does. Aaron Nola pitched really well today. Yeah, you can argue that 7th inning he kind of fell off right there, but he still pitched very well to win a ball game for you. And Corey Seidman on Twitter posted a really interesting stat. In Aaron Nola's last 3 starts, probably has thrown maybe a total of 300 pitches. He's allowed only 6 runs in his last 3 starts. But the Phillies, the offense-wise, have only scored 6 runs for Aaron Nola. So Aaron Nola just hasn't been getting run support lately. That Marlins game, when they only gave him 2 runs, and yeah, he blew it in the 6th inning, but he still pitched good that game. It's just, when you're not going to get the run support, Aaron Nola has to go out there and pitch perfect, basically. He has to go out there and basically pitch perfect every inning, and that's not going to happen. He needs run support. He got that a lot of run support in the beginning of the season when he was struggling. And now he's pitching really good, and the run support's just disappearing right now. There's no excuse to it. There isn't. And going to the stats offensively, Corey Dickerson, like I said, had a really nice offensive night, goes 3 for 4 with an RBI. JT goes over 3 with a sack, 2 sack flies, gets 2 RBIs on the night. So, decent offensive night, I guess, but even though he didn't get any hits, he got 2 RBIs, I guess. Bryce Harper goes 1 for 4 with an RBI. Wasn't really good in the beginning of this game. He struck out twice. Rhys Hoskins looks like his bat's starting to heat up a little bit. 5 hits in his last 2 games. Goes 3 for 5 tonight with an RBI, so maybe this is the time where Rhys Hoskins starts to wake up, maybe, because we definitely need it. Gene Segura, 1 for 5. Cesar, 1 for 4. Scott Kingery, 0 for 4. Adam Hazley, 2 for 3. Aaron Nola chipped in with a double early in this ball game. And it was funny, too, when I was sitting with my friend, I was sitting like 3:08, and when Aaron Nola's first bat came up, I was like to my buddy saying, yeah, why not? Calling an Aaron Nola home run right there. Didn't happen, but he was close to it. He hit a double right to the right field gap. It was very close to hitting a home run, actually. So that was a little good laugh we had right there. And it was also like bring your dog to the ballpark day. There was a lot of dogs sitting around in our section. A lot of dogs barking. A lot of cute dogs, actually. A lot of like dogs, but it didn't help with the mood of this ball game. This ball game was absolutely terrible. It just was. And I'm just like, I released all my energy during that ball game, so I'm just like, I'm pissed. Yes, I am pissed right now, but it's like, I have no energy to spurt it out. I have no energy to get insanely pissed right now. I'm just like saying as it is right now. This ball game was absolutely terrible. It was. And after this loss, like I said earlier, we fought a 3.5 games behind the Chicago Cubs, who won their ball game this afternoon against the Milwaukee Brewers. So, Cubs are getting hot right now. And us losing, falling flat on our faces like this, not going to help us down the stretch. It's just not. We're back to 5 games above 500. Tomorrow, Jason Vargas against Mats on the mound for the Mets. You have to rely on Jason Vargas going at least 5-6 innings, because that's really all he's going to give you. Even though he's been pretty consistent with us since he's been traded here, can't really expect much out of Vargas. You just can't. And the pitching matchups just the next 2 nights favor the Mets. Mets tomorrow, Stroman Sunday against Eflin. It's going to be a tough series. And tonight, our bullpen lost it technically, and our offense blew a game for Aaron Nola where he pitched really good. So, what are your thoughts on this ball game? What are your thoughts on the tough loss by the bullpen, by the offense? What are your thoughts on Aaron Nola's start? And do you think the Phillies can salvage this series? Do you think they can win the next 2 games? Do you think the offense will wake up, support their pitchers, get some run support? So, don't forget to leave a comment. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And I will see you in the next video.